In the previous two sections, when you copied and pasted formulas in worksheets, the cell addresses in the destination cells changed automatically relative to the destination row or column. The formulas in these worksheets used relative addressing. Sometimes you need a cell address to remain fixed when it is copied to another location in the worksheet. To do this, the formulas must include absolute addressing for those cell addresses that you do not want changed. Make a cell address absolute by typing a dollar symbol in front of the column letter or row number that cannot be changed. You can also use the F4 function key to toggle through variations of the address as relative, absolute, or mixed, in which either of the row is absolute and the column is relative or vice versa. Dana Hirsch has started a worksheet to forecast next year's expenses by quarter. Dana uses a model wherein next year's expenses are estimated based on last year's average quarter values multiplied by a factor that represents the expected increase for this year. For example, a factor of 1.05 means Dana is expecting the expense to increase by 5%. You will calculate each quarter's expense using the factors in the model Dana has started. So I already have the worksheet open. I'm going to go ahead and save it correctly. In my section 3 folder. And again, I'm just going to click at the beginning here and just add in the ES3 hyphen. And then it says review the layout of the worksheet. Notice the values in D4 to G4 are factors. D4 to G4. Okay, those are the percentages. 5%, 8%, 15%, and 14%. That represent an increase by quarter for each year's expenses. Okay, for example, advertising in quarter 1 is expected to increase by a factor of 1.05, which is a 5% increase. Make cell D6 active. All of the quarter 1 values in column D will be created by multiplying last year's average quarter amount by the factor in D4. The formula will include an address that should not change when the formula is copied. Okay, to create a formula with an absolute address, type =, B6 times D4. And then press the function key F4, the top row of your keyboard. Pressing F4 causes Excel to insert dollar symbols in front of the row number and column letter immediately left of the insertion point. D4 becomes $D, $4, an absolute address. You can enter column letters and formulas in either uppercase or lowercase. Excel will convert lowercase letters to uppercase automatically when you press the Enter key after typing the formula or when pressing F4 to specify an absolute reference. So press Enter. The result, $2,257.50, is entered in cell D6. In the cell D6 formula, the first cell reference, B6, is relative, and the second cell address, D4, is absolute. This is an example of mixed referencing, with some addresses relative and some absolute. When the formula is copied in a later step, only cell D4 remains the same. With cell D7 active, type =, B7 times $D, $4, and enter. You can also type the dollar symbol in front of the column letter or row number to make an absolute reference. Make cell D7 active, and then use the fill handle and drag down to D12 to copy. Click cell D8 and look at the formula in the formula bar. Notice that the second cell address, B8, was changed relative to the current row number, but the second cell address, $D, $4, remained the same as the original when the formula was copied. Make E6 active. Type $B6 times E4, press the F4 key, and then press enter. Make F6 active, and then create the formula by either typing it and pressing the F4 function, or by typing the $ symbol before. Okay, so equal sign B6 times $ F $4. And then hit enter. Make G6 active, and then create the formula. Oh, I'm sorry, I did that wrong. It was supposed to be F. I'm going to just move it here. Okay, let's see if it's right. B6 times F4. It is, so I'm good. Okay, and then G6, same thing. Equal sign B6 times G4 F4. Enter. Okay, select E6 to G6, and then I'm going to use the fill handle and drag down to row 12 to copy it all down. Click a few cells in the copied range and verify that in each case the cell reference with the $ symbols remained the same when the formula was copied, and as you can see, it did. Okay, make cell D14 active, and then click the auto sum button. D14 auto sum. Click the auto sum button a second time to accept the suggested formula D6 to D13. Okay. Make H6 active. Click the auto sum button. Make H6 active, auto sum. And then press enter to accept to add from D6 to G6. Complete the formulas from E14 to H14 and H7 to H12 by copying the sum functions, and then select E7 to H12 and apply the comma style format, and then go ahead and save the worksheet.